Hi, welcome to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea and it is Tag Tuesday. It is Tuesday, November 12th, and I haven't filmed in a while because I've been traveling and life has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. But I wanted to come back now that I'm home from my travels. I got home on Sunday. It's Tuesday. I'm still trying to get myself back into my groove, but I thought I'd get started with that groove by jumping in to do a tag on this Tag Tuesday. And this is a tag that I had prepared months ago when I was first tagged, and then I was tagged again. So a little bit about the tag. The tag is the International Booktuber Tag. It is created by Daniela at Only If For a Page, and I was tagged by Kat at Curious Cat, and then more recently in the last couple of months by Mimi at It's Mimi Duong. Thank you both, Kat and Mimi, for tagging me and thinking about me. I'm so grateful. I really love that you tagged me, and I can't wait to share my answers to the tag with you. So let's get started. Question number 1. Where are you from and what is your native language? I am a proud regiomontana. I am a Mexican born in the northern part of Mexico, in the city of Monterrey, in the state of Nuevo León, and I'm a Mexican immigrant to the United States. My first language is Spanish, and a little bit about my immigrant story, I suppose, before I go into question number 2. So I was brought to the United States as a child. I didn't have a say or a choice. It just happened to me. And Spanish was my home language, has always been my home language, is still my home language. But question number 2 goes into language. In what languages do you read? So as a child, I started out reading in Spanish. My parents are Spanish speakers. They both read to me a lot in Spanish. But as a student in the United States, my go-to language and my primary reading language was English. As an adult, I learned Portuguese. I used to be more like advanced, more like intermediate to advanced in Portuguese, but I haven't practiced Portuguese in such a long time. I think I'm probably going to classify myself back at a beginner level. And occasionally I have tried to read in Portuguese, but I'm a really slow reader in Portuguese. It takes me forever. I do love listening to Portuguese music. I love Brazilian bossa nova, and I love reading lyrics to songs in Portuguese. I think these days I might be more likely to reach for a poem to read in Portuguese than an actual novel. Question number 3. Is there a booktube community in your native language? What is a community like? Yeah, so I get the sense that there is a community, like a Spanish-speaking community here on BookTube that is not country-specific. It is language based. So I do love to watch booktubers, Spanish-speaking booktubers. A lot of them are from Spain, like the channels that I watch. A lot of them are Spaniards, and I love the Spanish accent. I love their sense of humor, so I'm always really entertained and glad to watch their channels. I have connected with some Mexican booktubers, but I'm not really like super plugged into that community yet. And I haven't found other Latin American booktubers beyond a handful of Mexican booktubers. So if you have any recommendations for any Spanish-speaking booktubers from Latin America, please let me know. I would love to get those recommendations in the comments. I wrote in my notes that I did want to say that in recent years here on BookTube, I have become acquainted with the reading group Libros y Fortipos, and I love this community of readers. And I think the creators of the group originate from Mexico, and I love them. I love the reading group. I have done the Guadalupe Reinas reading event in December to January for the last couple of years, and I recently did a journaling workshop with them, and I love them so much. They recently published a book that I really, really want to read. So the reading group Libros y Fortipos is one of my favorite reading groups here in BookTube, in Spanish language BookTube community. Question number 4. If yes to 3, so if there is a community in your language, in your native language, why did you decide to join the International Booktube community? So my videos are in English because I live in the United States. So it made sense that because most of my reading is in English, that I would be talking about the books I'm reading in English, and I would be connecting with other booktubers living in the United States. And I also really wanted to connect with booktubers living in Texas, my home state, here in the United States. So I am a dual citizen of Mexico and the United States. So I am an active participant in American culture and American life. So it made sense to me to try to connect with people near and far to where I'm at, to try to have community with other readers. Question number 5. Are there struggles or challenges for you as a non-native English speaker? Yes, absolutely. So there are challenges both ways. So because I was born in Mexico to Mexican parents, and I am an immigrant, and my home language is Spanish, a lot of the pop culture I consumed as a child was Mexican. It was Spanish. It was in Spanish. So I'm always behind. I'm always catching up on pop culture and literary references in the English language. As a student, particularly in high school, I was exposed to most of the books and literary works that we read in school were from England or American. So that's great, but not so much. So it's great because it helped me at least be up to par with other English language readers. And it helped me in being able to go to college here in the United States and be able to understand language and cultural references to literature, which I really do appreciate. But it also just was so English heavy and English dominant that I missed out on the contemporary writing, like in the Spanish language. So I'm now catching up as an adult, and now I'm catching up on all the stuff I missed in terms of literary works, contemporary literature in Mexico and Latin America. So I have super long TBR of books that I haven't read, authors I am not acquainted with that I want to become acquainted with. And it's overwhelming, if I'm honest, it is. And up until Tuesday of last week, Election Day here in the United States, I had this nagging feeling like maybe I was reading too much Latin American literature, and maybe it was just a little bit too much, and maybe I needed to read less, and maybe I needed to read more English language literature. And I have since changed my mind. I have since found inspiration to read more own voices, more Latin American, more immigrant stories, more LGBTQIA narratives. Read more of the things that I felt guilty for reading, and perhaps do more reviewing on my channel. But yeah, as a non-native English speaker, I'm always feeling like I'm catching up in both directions. And it can be a bit frustrating. Question number 6. How do you get hold of English books? That really isn't a problem living in the United States. I'm able to have access to library books and all the English language. The stores are like packed with English language books. It's the reverse. It's difficult. It's the getting access to Spanish books that is difficult. The local indie bookstores, the local Barnes & Noble, they don't really carry a great selection of books in Spanish. And places like Libro FM, as much as I want to support independent audiobook platforms, they don't usually offer a good selection of Spanish books, Spanish language books. And so before last week, I was really feeling like my only for sure option for getting Spanish language books was Amazon. But last week, while I was traveling in Dallas, I found a new to me hidden little gem called Whose Books. Whose Books is a Latin American owned independent bookstore in Dallas. They have a great selection of Spanish language books, LGBTQIA representation, and books by Latin American authors and own voices books. They are a new favorite little bookstore gem in the state of Texas, and I'm so happy I came across their bookstore. I got a whole bunch of books from them. I can't wait to show a haul. I just had to. I was just so over the moon. In the middle of feeling a lot of grief about the election results, I was able to find so much joy in connecting with the owners of this bookstore. So they are two retired educators, and they have this bookstore. The bookstore is only a few years old, I think 2 to 3 years old. So they're still a small independent bookstore, and I just love them so much. This couple that owns this bookstore, they're just the sweetest, kindest, lovely people, so helpful, so just wonderful. I just fell in love with this bookstore, and I cannot wait to continue to support them and get my Spanish language books and Latin American authors from them. So excited. It's just, I feel like it was a perfect match made in heaven. Me finding them. And question number 7. What is the best thing about being part of the international community? Answer in your native language. La mejor parte de ser un pedacito de esta comunidad en Booktube es la oportunidad de conocer a otros booktubers de tantos países, diferentes idiomas, conectándonos sobre el amor por la lectura y los libros. Ha sido un gozo realmente encontrar amigas y amigos dentro de este espacio, de compartir recomendaciones de libros, de compartir el amor y el gusto de leer. Para mí ha sido algo muy bonito. Me ha gustado mucho recibir recomendaciones de libros, de títulos nuevos, de reseñas. Ha sido increíble. Increíble tener un espacio donde conectarse con otros lectores y compartir libros y el gozo por la lectura. Question number 8. Do you watch other international booktube channels? Yeah, I do. Helen at Ellen Read Book Club. She has connected me with so many other international booktubers that I am now friends with. For example, Kat at Curious Cat, Mimi at Ismini Duong. I'm also a fan of Becoming a Bookworm, Sylvia at Library Unbounded, Susmita at Read with Susmita, Sonali at The Melodramatic Bookworm, Brindis at Daughter of Gunnar, and all of these booktubers I know because of Alan and Kat primarily. Annie at Obscure Book Adventures. Annie was one of the first subscribers to my channel, and she's one of the most welcoming booktubers. Ellie at Ellie's Cozy Chronicles, Rutvik at The Mindless Mess, Lau at Lau by the Sea, Silatli at Silali Abroad, Marcela at Marcela and Her Books, Alex at Sloth Readers Club, Rana at Rana Najad, Katja at Page Turners with Katja, Kat at Lit with Kat, Michelle at Michelle's Melancholia, Daniela at Guilty Feet, Sophie at Bibliosophie, Mariana at Mariana Mas Books, Angelique at El Librero de Angelique, Mary at The Pumpkin Files, Cynthia at Books y Café con Leche, Eva at Eva Lecturitas. I love Eva at Eva Lecturitas. Tatiana at Reading with Tatiana, Emily Clarice Pessoa, and Gaby at Soliloquios Literarios. And it was Gaby at Soliloquios Literarios that really got me connected to a lot of Spanish booktube and also to Libros Before Tipos through the Guadalupe Reinas reading event. So I'm so grateful for her and for her channel. And that's it. That is the International Booktuber Tag. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for ongoing reading about, as you now know, I'm going to be reading more, pressing more into reading own voices, Latin American authors, and I'm going to be trying to do more book reviews on my channel. So that's my work to do in this little corner of the internet. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your friendship and your recommendations, and like and subscribe if you want to, and well, until we meet again, hasta la próxima.